When we're reading Marcus Aurelius, if he gets something catastrophically wrong on page 17, we say, well, what the hell? He lived 2,000 years ago. There's no way he knew everything, right? And we turn the page.
Okay,
right?
so
we can't do that with the Bible and the Quran.
Here's a mythological representation of that. So there's an ancient idea, a very ancient idea, that when you face the void, what you do is confront it and leap into it. And what you discover at the bottom is a beast, and inside that beast you discover your father lying dead, and then you reanimate your father and you bring him back to the surface, and that's the means of dealing with the void, right? And so in essence, in some sense, that's just what you said. You said that
except that, again, there's something confabulatory about that, because you can do I could change the valence of virtually every word you use there, and it would also sound profound and true. I could swap father for mother, and I could swap void for mountaintop, and it could be the same seemingly archetypal journey, and someone could make sense of it.
It's not that easy, Sam. Like, that's the same thing.
It's damn easy. I've done it with a cookbook.
But look, if it's that easy, then you can write great novels.
No,
and you can tell great stories. Well, if it's that easy, it's not that easy to write a great story. So these things can't be swapped out with ease. And there is a reason that it's your father that you rescue from the belly of the beast and not your mother in those sorts of situations.
Yeah, but it's,
it is akin to...
Again, I give you Buddhism and Hinduism that have completely different iconographies and mythologies, and
well, they're different at some levels, but not at all. It's like languages. They're different at some levels and not at all.
They're crucially opposite in many of these cases. I'm just saying that this kind of reading meaning into story there's a reason why it's not science. Because it is, in some basic sense, unfalsifiable. There's nothing you and I can do for the rest of our lives to be sure that the mother isn't at the bottom of that void and it's really the father.
Is it possible to develop a factual approach to the analysis of literature?
Well, yes, on its own terms. You can say, well, but that extends to things like it is a fact that Hamlet was the Prince of Denmark and not the king.
No, I meant in terms of the meaning of literature.
Well, yeah, but you can make true and false claims, or more and less plausible claims about literature.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do, is to make more plausible claims. On you.
But again, this is a very different game than what most religious people think is on offer.
Well, look, if you look at the domain of science, most scientists aren't very good at what they do. And if you look at the domain of religious thinking, most religious thinking people aren't very good at what they do, but that doesn't mean that the whole damn thing should be thrown out. There's gradations of religious revelation and wisdom.
But there's that word, because revelation, if revelation is something that we can all do, you, me, and Marcus Aurelius, right? That is a very different world than the world that Muslims think they're living in.
But you just said, Sam, that we have to go in. This is why I used the going down into the void to rescue your father metaphor. You just said that we have to, and you've said this before, and I know you believe it as well, that we have to go back into the past and find the wisdom that can help guide us, because we don't have to do this as if we're encountering everything for the first time. And that's exactly the idea of going into the void to rescue your father. That's how that is the eternal, age-old medication for the confrontation of the void. And you said it yourself, and so I don't know which it is. It's like, do we have to go into the past to rescue what's best, given the understanding that there is something there worth rescuing, or not? Is it pure rationality and nothing else moving forward, unconstrained by convention?
It's just, again, I want our certainties. And I think we all, in every other area of our lives, we agree about this effortlessly, right? If I'm pretending to be certain of something that you can sense I have no good reason to be certain about, you begin to mistrust me in every area. If it's in business, or if it's in sports, or if I told you I knew that France was going to win the World Cup and I was absolutely sure, and yet I magically didn't bet any money on it. I mean, these are conversations we can have about everything else, and yet on this topic of religion, people change the rules, right? And I'm just arguing that the rules should never, the rules by which we dole out our credence shouldn't change, and they don't change. And again, we shouldn't be misled by the duration of the past. I mean, this is what's the comparison of something like Scientology to Christianity is so invidious because we can practically meet L. Ron Hubbard, right? We've got film of him confabulating about galaxies that, ruled by overlords whose names he magically knew, right? We see the man behind the curtain. We don't see that with the Apostle Paul or anyone else who brought us the quote real religions, and yet it's always just been human beings doing this.